Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we are going to be talking about Bitcoin, some altcoins, the entire crypto market in general. So sit back, relax, and before we fully jump on into this video, I do just want to ask guys to please leave a like on this video. It does help the channel grow immensely, and of course, I always do greatly appreciate it. Now, with that in mind, I'm going to shed some light on the Fed and things like that. Going to be talking about why we shouldn't really be too concerned with it. Will there be a little bit of a shockwave throughout the market? Yeah, probably, because people just react in idiotic ways, especially when you do see some sort of, possible bearish news coming out. Like even the POW stuff and stuff, like there really isn't much to worry about in terms of price action, because we are also seeing some very good factors that are leading us to believe that Bitcoin is actually going to have an incredible year ahead. So let's talk about a few things. So first off, I'm going to talk to you guys about this chart here, this is the long-term holders chart. We're seeing this is just an absolutely wild chart. Obviously need to wait for Bitcoin price action to start reflecting this, but once it does, should be a slingshot upwards. Now, this chart is showing us the long-term holder accumulation of Bitcoin. We're seeing Bitcoin long-term holders are adding to their balance at an annualized rate of 7.6x issuance, with 900 Bitcoin in mined issuance per day. This means around 6,840 Bitcoin moving into long-term holding storage daily. Now, check this out, guys. So, in terms of this chart, we go back to the 2018 topping point. This is like the bear market, if you will. This was like where we started to really enter into a bear market. And then, of course, we have that 2021 timeframe. This is most likely around it was like almost the May timeframe before we seen the summer lows being put in. And look at where we are at currently. So here is our structure. We are seeing a long-term hold accumulation ratio being put in. And look at 2019, before, of course, we've seen Bitcoin kind of do this nice upward, path, followed by a little bit of sideways momentum, followed by a drop in price, and of course, followed by yet another all-time high. Now, the thing about this is that, although things look very good on this aspect, trust me when I say this, like things are looking very good, will most likely trade sideways. Is the macro bottom in? Looks like it could possibly very well be, but this is going to take some time for Bitcoin to actually, get back to these nice levels. I mean, look at 2019. And, during 2019, it took a little bit of some, time to get to this point here. But this was not leading altcoins to, the Golden Gate Bridge, if you will, where they were starting to have their major breakouts and things like that. It actually took a little bit longer. It took until around like 2020 to 2021 to really see that momentum change. So when we are talking about Bitcoin, is it going to take us another year for us to actually get to, all-time highs, or I should say, altcoins to really start to break out? It very well possibly could take longer than expected. Now, all while this is happening, we're seeing, Bitcoin break out elusive as traders price in 7 Fed rate hikes for 2022. Now, I just want you all to understand that a lot of these, rate hikes, they're usually minimal at best. Like, this is the current funds rate at about 0.08%. They're talking about bringing this up to about 0.25%. Now, with that in mind, is that going to really, kill the markets or anything like that? No, I don't believe that, it's going to absolutely crash the markets or anything like that. I think that in the short term, like on the micro views, we'll most likely see some impulses across the board. This is, of course, due to current, structure of the entire market, but also, individuals are still extremely fearful. And we know that from the past, whenever there was a little bit of a bullish news or bearish news, whatever the case may be, individuals just run in and just sell or buy. They FOMO, or they panic, okay? And something like this, okay, causes panic across the board. Like, individuals will literally short their positions thinking that we're going to see a massive breakdown in the market due to these, rate hikes. And I'm not saying that this can't crash the market. Like, trust me, if these rate hikes are much more than we are expecting, then yes, we will see a massive shift in the market. We will see a major sell-off pattern. And this is also when I talk to you guys about, preparing for the inevitable, preparing for either way, okay? Like, currently, Bitcoin is at massive resistance, as you guys do see on the chart. Okay, we are also on some major support. Like we're in this tightening, coiled sort of sideways momentum, which is also the main reason why we're not seeing a lot of breaks out on altcoins. But we are also eyeing one major target point, and this is that 26K zone. So I told you guys about this 26K zone yesterday. From our current levels to that price, you guys can actually kind of see the percentage drop here. This would be roughly around a 34% drop in price. You guys can see the level going back as far as I think it was actually 2020. It's still 2020. You guys can see the demand zone right there, as you guys can see before we went to the all-time highs back here of like roughly 65K. Sorry. But when we are talking about this level that we're talking, about rejecting to, what's going to cause us to reject to that point? Well, it would be something where we do see a strong impulse across the board, a lot of panic happening, capitulation happening as well. That will most likely be because of Fed rate, increases. Now, of course, it will most likely happen on the stocks, before it happens on Bitcoin. It will basically all happen at once, technically. But I am watching a lot of things because as we are kind of coiling up here, we're also seeing coiling up happening even on the dollar. All right, like we're still at around this 702 level. You guys do see on the chart, the dollar is still fairly strong here, sitting on RSI strength on the moving average, as you guys do see, still around 65, almost 66. And I'm watching this trade sideways, similar to Bitcoin, and we're just waiting for an impulse. And I do think that this is all in momentum for tomorrow. I think everything is kind of just trading sideways a little bit until we do see the Fed announce their rate hikes tomorrow. Like I said, I'm prepared for anything. I have money on the side to buy, and I also am still in my long-term positions because I have not sold any of my long-term holdings. Now, with this in mind, with Bitcoin, kind of just trading sideways here, I'm not too concerned because we are still holding that structural support of having those higher lows being put in place, which would possibly be, 36K if we do test that zone, which would be around like this area here, which I printed on the chart a couple days ago. So I'm still expecting some downward trend, nothing too crazy, but we are also seeing some, bullish things or bullish charts around Bitcoin from some incredible analysts that I follow. If you guys don't know about Crypto Bull God, definitely go check them out if you guys haven't already. Now, we are still seeing that sideways momentum. This is on the 1 week chart, by the way. And we do see holding this lower, these lower lows, or I should say higher lows technically, but these are those major lows going back to, this is 2021. These are going back to that crashing formation very, very far back. This is like around that April to July timeframe, going back to like May and the summer lows. And then, of course, the lows currently that we have in place. And this is kind of just playing out to have this sort of bars graph momentum to, 200K plus. I don't believe that we go to 200K. I'm more so dead set on like 120 to like 100 and like roughly 60K. I told you guys about those levels, but if we are talking about how long this can actually take, we are looking at the fall time of this year. We're looking at around like September to, December, but it's not dead set on that actually being, the truth. Like we could still see momentum shift in this market to the idea on it could take us a little bit longer. It could take us a year. Now, I've always said and I've always addressed that we're looking at some all-time highs being put in place. And, it would take us to around, the summer to fall time period for us to have those nice highs put in place. But it's going to take some time, especially considering the fact that Bitcoin's still in a recovery state. Like, we're not bullish at all. That is also why we are seeing, extreme fear on the fear and greed index. Now, all while this is happening, we are still seeing sideways momentum on altcoins. This is not changing at all because we are still, sitting in limbo on Bitcoin. There's no clear picture on the chart to tell us that we are bullish or bearish. We're just kind of sitting neutral, if you will, and we are waiting for some updates from the Fed, and we're seeing talks around, rate increases, which is always something that kind of leaves the entire market stale. This goes back as far as even 2021 and even 2020 as well, where we did see that March of 2020 drop followed by sideways momentum until we fully recovered. And I could actually kind of show you guys that real quick on the chart. So let's actually go back to the 1 week and let's go back to March of 2020. So here we have March of 2020. It took us some time to get back to those highs. Like this is October of 2020 followed from March to get back to the highs that we had placed in June of 2019. So, recovery can take some time. It could take over a year to get back into a recovery basis. And I don't mean to tell you guys that to make you frustrated or mad. On the 1 week, we still look fairly good. We are still very well, bullish. But look at where we are currently at compared to the all-time highs. We still have a long way to go. In fact, I would love to break over these September lows and get back above some strength levels, which would be at around like the 46K zone, which is why I've always been calling for like 48K to be targeted on Bitcoin, because that will allow us to actually have a clearer picture on the chart. But until then, we are not expecting our altcoins, including QNT, even Casper, right? A lot of these altcoins are just trading in a sideways or crashing formation similar to, Casper. Like Casper's been in a massive downward trend, kind of hitting some support down here finally at some point in time. We were hoping for this to actually hit some support, and we finally got that support zone ratio targeted going as far back as July of 2021. But this is the issue currently. Like, we're not seeing major gains across the board for alts because we are always focusing on the bigger picture, which is, of course, Bitcoin. And I don't mean to bring, Bitcoin in the talks to say, like, hey, we're focused on this because we need to be. It's just the idea that, Bitcoin will open the door for, extremely bullish crypto news that will bring more money flowing in, because right now, there's a lack of volume throughout the altcoin market. There's a lack of volume throughout this entire market, actually, even if you look at the total, right? Go to the total 3. Let's throw the volume on the chart. You guys do see the volume. It's nothing incredible. Like, I think that when we're talking about, alts currently, we are lacking a lot of money flows in this market. I mean, we've seen a lot of money exchanging hands. We've been seeing altcoins kind of in this downward formation, and we're just waiting for solidification from the Fed talking about these rate hikes. But we are also seeing some bullishness happening within metrics like the long-term holders accumulating Bitcoin for a very long time now. We've been seeing like 30,000 Bitcoin being moved off of exchanges. We've been seeing, all-time accumulation happening for Bitcoin, all while we are seeing bullish news around crypto. And you see that there's not a lot of interest right now. We're seeing so much news that's so positive, so great for crypto, but we're just trading sideways. And the reason why is because people are still up in the air on what is about to happen. We still need to see what the Fed says. But I do believe that tomorrow could be very good, or it could be very bad, because we don't know for certain if they are going to price in these hikes, or I shouldn't say price in these hikes, but we don't know for certain what they're going to do with these hikes. It could be more than what we are expecting. I do think that these, rate hike increases are already priced into the market. I just think that people will react in, I don't want to say an idiotic way, but it is more so an idiotic way. Like, we've seen impulses in the past where we shouldn't even have seen impulses because people just get panicky, especially in terms of these metrics that do get released. Like, I think that these rate increases are nothing. I think that these are, when we're talking about inflation and things like that, like, I think that a lot of money is actually going to run from the dollar and into risk-reward ratio investments like crypto. So I think that we're still going to see an incredible year for, Bitcoin and altcoins. We just have to get past a lot of this, sort of sideways momentum that is reliant on, of course, positive or negative news. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, I hope that you all have a beautiful day or a beautiful night wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.